Mukha na ako.
Sabi mo pa rin, okay ka na.
Okay na ako.
Of emergency, everyone is urged to proceed to the assembly area located at the parking lot in front of the convention hall. For your convenience, thank you and have a good day.
We have in today's forum I have some notes for our Undersecretary. Our first Undersecretary, Zenaida Quezon Maglaya. Undersecretary started her career in government, where she was assigned in Northern Mindanao and Eastern Visayas, Assistant Group in 2012. She became Undersecretary for Consumer Welfare and Business Regulation, where she steers business practices and champions the rights of consumers. Undersecretary Maglaya was conferred the Presidential Lingkod Bayan Award in 2007, the highest category of the Civil Service Commission's Honor Awards program. Currently, she heads the Regional Operation Group of the Department of Trade.
In December 2012, Typhoon Pablo or BOFA made landfall and affected 34 provinces. Death toll was 1,067 and more than 711,000 families were affected. Super Typhoon Yolanda means while the affected families are still recovering from the onslaught of these strong typhoons. SMEs were not exempt from experiencing the wrath of Pablo, Yolanda, and other calamities that affected the country. In the past, the earthquake that hit Bohol in the Visayas affected our SMEs. Our SMEs couldn't open, they were also damaged, they couldn't start immediately, and we could really see that, in fact, in Yolanda, 58% of businesses in Western Visayas were affected, 20% in Palawan and Occidental Mindoro, 30% in Central Visayas, and 80% in the Visayas. In most of the areas that got hit, the businesses were already back about 80 to 85%. Were back in operation, but may not be necessarily back 100% back to where they were before Yolanda. But as we said, we wanted them to be built back better. So we're really working right now on seeing how we can really do this. As the Philippine government continues to support the rehabilitation of communities in affected areas, the value of resilience, recovery, and contingency should be highly looked upon, as these provide impetus to SMEs that operate in a country prone to natural disaster. In response to the damage brought by Super Typhoon Yolanda, government established an enterprise rehabilitation fund with very easy terms and to be able to finance and to get them to build or be rebuilt back and to build back better. Business continuity planning will also help SMEs in planning ahead to be able to prepare for unforeseen threats to their business. SMEs should develop a strategy to keep their business functions and infrastructure intact, thus the need for a preparedness plan that will protect them from the potential damages that threat, and a contingency plan will always come in handy. It should be noted, however, that business continuity planning requires careful consideration of the environment where SMEs operate, the conditions that allow or disrupt business operations, and the existing business policies and procedures. We cannot follow. Business continuity planning should be central to sustainable SMEs. Communities should continue to build back better by following sustainable practices and put in place strategies for possible scenarios highlighted. We should foster partnerships between MSMEs, or the micro, small, and medium enterprises, and government. Collaboration will allow for the development of sound policies that are responsive to the needs of the MSMEs to grow, and to Chinese Taipei for spearheading this important APEC initiative on BCP. I wish everyone a fruitful workshop. Good day.
Thank you, Undersecretary Maglaya. The next person to deliver his opening remarks. Oh, this will take a few minutes. Majored in earthquake engineering, seismic design, and structure dynamics. He is currently the Deputy Executive Secretary for the National Science and Technology Center for Disaster. Gentleman, Dr. Lee.
Undersecretary Maglaya, dear expert, dear friend of the Philippines. On behalf of Chinese Taipei, first of all, I express our sincere appreciation are the growth engine of the whole district. They just provide products to the supply chain, also provide livelihood to people living in community. So we think if we can strengthen disaster resilience at the level of SME in this way. So this is why from the 2012 to the end of 2015, we got a serious program on the APEC framework to emphasize this issue. Like the film showed previously, right now we publish a booklet in 7 languages. Able also help a lot, like ADRC, ADPC, and other private sector. We collect the crystal of wisdom from there, so we can accomplish the booklet. My dear friends, only a booklet is not enough. We need action. We need practical action. So this is why, with this chance, we gather SME from Philippines together. We try to figure out what is the good way, best way to do the BCP.
She's foundation in the Philippines. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Mr. Henry Yunis.
Secretary Maglaya, Dr. Lee, and APEC Forum participants, good morning. I'm Henry Yunis, here to represent the Tzu Foundation. There are many charity organizations in the world today. The founder, Dharma Master Cheng Yen. For all disaster relief efforts, the immediate, mid-term, and long-term challenges that face the victims of environmental adversity program. The effect of this initiative was threefold. First, it augmented the recovery efforts of government workers and significantly expedite the cleaning, thereby jump-starting the local economy by enabling survivors to meet their daily needs and rebuild their homes. And last, and most importantly, it diverted the survivors' thoughts and energy. The second phase involved rebuilding their homes and schools to safeguard the survivors' basic need for shelter. And the last and final stage ensure that the survivors have a livelihood. This collection of SMEs has the advantage of a spectrum of abilities, thanks to a variety of industries and policy makers that are present here today. My hope is that today's participants are inspired to enact policies to stimulate economic growth in devastated communities.
Okay. Sabihin nyo kung okay na kayo.
Hindi na.
Sige, sige. Okay na. Sabihin pag okay na.
Okay na.
Also reserve some time if our audience have questions to the panelists. So if you don't mind, I will start from my left hand. First, I will also introduce each panelist to introduce itself, then give the short idea about the BCP from their own job.
Forget about what you were doing before the incident. Now you have to change your hat and become a restoration company and help yourself first. And for us, we can only guide, provide advice companies to switch from whatever activity they are doing to recovery very quickly. And this will help them.
Okay, thank you. I think from the talk mentioned about our mindset has to be changed.
We have to admit because of the global warming, for Tzuchi, for us, I think the Cash for Work program was the most successful. It was in the city of Marikina after the typhoon Ondoy, internationally codenamed Katsina. Katsina, yes. We think that with this Cash for Work program, we were able to typhoon. Usually when we as a volunteer go in, we can see a lot of to mobilize everybody. Instead of just sitting there, they start working for their own good. So I think this program was able to show the world that this.
So this is why we have a workshop called first issue about EPEP. So my following question to my panelists is, they are all experienced experts out of business to recovery. They are prominent NGO volunteer help people who rebuild their livelihoods. According to your past experience, what are the key resources from government side to do the recovery work? We know there are many resources we need to recover the business operation or people livelihood, but what are the key resources are needed during the most urgent time to have my friend told, jumpstarts a dying economy or dying secrets from the reverse side. So please share your experience first.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ali. So maybe on one part that we've observed, the most basic resources is basically the people. So we've observed one thing that when it comes to sustainability and to the growth of the whole, definitely the most important thing that we can mobilize are the people. And this is the part that the government can come in and support us with this kind of effort, because basically the governments are the ones who are managing these people. So if you can tap these resources and have, so just in the case of the patchwork effort, it's basically utilizing everyone's hand to do the cleanup rather than relying only on the heavy machineries of the government. Reviving the people, and aside from reviving the economy, we are injecting this kind of money to allowing the people to help themselves while they themselves are involved in the cleanup process. At the end, you get to see that the whole help there to help them sustain their day-to-day living. So this is something that's why the most important thing is the people. If we will be able to put our focus on mobilizing these people. Maybe on one part we may consider them that they are disaster victims, but in another part we can.
As much as government would like to, government has a lot of protocol and procedures to go through. So most of the time they act not as quick as what we are private sector are doing. So basically we only, so mostly we do it through our own volunteers from the private sector.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee. And yeah, from our perspective, which they can guide the people to start rebuilding, start working, and that will give people hope and will raise the prospects for the future.